Hi guys, welcome to the RedFlex on this momentous match preview. Liverpool versus Manchester United. We've done a massive build-up on the channel, mainly hosted by Kasim. He's done lots of interviews, lots of work, lots of streaming to give you some fantastic content, which is exclusively inclusive, and you'll only find this on the RedFlex. Absolutely. We've got a lot to get through. This is the RedFlex official match preview. We're going to cover lots of things. We've got Harris, who's the resident press conference king and stat man.
I'm sure he's sat outside the press conference room right now.
I'm sure he's there. I'm sure he has some contacts within the Aon training complex and has constant conversations with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we're joined today as well by Kasim, who's, as I mentioned, doing some fantastic work, uploading lots of content this week. And again, I'm sure he'll provide some interesting comments going forward on this stream.
I'm going to interrupt you. Apologies. Let me just bring this comment up.
I love that.
BAZ top 3. WTF, the three of you guys are talking to yourselves. I've got a little message for you. Yes, we are talking to ourselves. This is a stream, and this is the only match preview that you need to be watching. And we're live.
Thank you for watching anyway.
It's getting streamed on YouTube, Baz. It's getting streamed on YouTube. So obviously, it doesn't really matter who's watching right now. It will be recorded and put on YouTube. So just to put any of your queries and concerns, to bed.
Eden.
But cheers, Baz. Anyway, cheers, Baz.
Here's the beauty of the RedFlex again. It's live.
The beauty of the
RedFlex. Look at this. The newest generation of the RedFlex.
The next RedFlex host.
Eden, you're right, mate. Yeah.
United are going to win. Come on.
We're going to win.
United going to win?
He said yeah.
We'll take that as a yes.
Eden? Yeah. Right, so Abdul,
Right, let's continue. So yeah, we've got a lot to get through. We're going to cover the press conference. We're going to cover a recent interview that Paul Pogba has done with Sky Sports. We've got an interview that we're going to cover with Marcus Rashford. We've got some news about Bruno Fernandes, Wayne Rooney, Bailly, some comments made by ex-referee Dermot Gallagher, and also we've got an ex-Liverpool legend who's made an interesting prediction for the game today, or the game, sorry, on Sunday. So first thing, Harris, we'll go to you in regards to the press conference. I believe quite a few things were said, especially in regards to the recent kind of controversial comments in regards to refereeing and lots of penalties being given. So what was said about that aspect in the press conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think Solskjaer, I don't think he was really asked much about that. Solskjaer just says he's got faith in the referees and, believes them to be doing an honest job. So that's all that he had to say. Klopp, on the other hand, obviously had a bit of an essay in his response. I
believe you've watched that as well, haven't you? You've watched the Liverpool press conference, yeah.
Yeah, he was quite riled about that. He had some certain choice words from Mr. Clattenburg saying that, maybe Clattenburg is of a certain way, of a certain train of thought, and that's why he thinks Klopp would have said it. But Klopp just came out and said, "Yeah, I'm not. I didn't say it for that reason. I just saw the facts and I just kind of mentioned it after the game. Clearly, there's some sort of mind games going on there. Klopp is obviously not. He's not going to come out and admit that. In regards to the rest of the press conference for Ole, yeah, he was in confident mood. Obviously, he's not trying to hype it up too much. Obviously, the questions were obviously being asked in a certain way where obviously Ole would come out and say, we're going for it. We want to beat them and all this. But he had a lot of respect for Liverpool, and for Klopp, he was asked about that question that Klopp had to answer about Clattenburg, and he just said, look, he's got a lot of respect for Jurgen Klopp, and they're going there as underdogs. It'll be a shock apparently to Ole if we were to win. It would be an upset in terms of not that I was going to mention.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I also watched it, and I believe you've, Kasim, watched it as well. What do you think, Kasim, in regards to will it be an upset if Man United win at Anfield?
I think Liverpool will go in as favourites. They're the reigning, defending Premier League title champions. Supposedly the greatest team that there's ever been for Liverpool. Jamie Carragher said it. A lot of Liverpool fans, just because they've won one Premier League title after 30 years, they think they're the benchmark for the Premier League. I can also remind you, during that period, Leicester City have also won one Premier League title. That doesn't make them the greatest team. But yeah, over the last 2-3 years, they probably have been the best team. But on current form, I would say that Man United go in as favourites, and I think Liverpool are a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Yeah, so Harris, you were discussing the contents of the press conference, and I think you were referring to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believed it would be an upset. Was there anything else that was mentioned that's worth actually sharing with our viewers today?
Yeah, just a general mindset of the players. Obviously, he was asked about injuries. I think he only confirmed for sure it's Jones and Brandon Williams who are 100% injured. Apart from that, he's not really giving the game away, which is, I think, the right tactic to employ, isn't it? Why is he going to come out and say Martial's injured, Matic's injured, Shaw's injured, etc., etc.? He's not going to say that.
Did he not say that Martial's a doubt at this stage?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah,
he didn't say he's not trained well or anything like that. He didn't give he didn't give the game away on that side. But yeah, obviously I think that was pretty much it. What Ole was asked. I think again, the media want to try and hype this up even more than it already is, to be honest. But Ole said it's a reality check. That words he used. I think he's making the point that if we win, it obviously means we're 100% the title race. I think even a draw, decent performance in a draw, would probably make the same statement. Obviously, a defeat, you don't want to get beat badly. If it's a good performance and you just get beat, then fair enough. But I think ideally, you just don't want to get beat in this game. You want to move on with that unbeaten away record. Let's make it. Let's try and get to the end of the season. In my book, I think that'll be an amazing record. Klopp was asked some other interesting questions. What he thought about Rashford. Obviously, you mentioned Rashford's out of football work and the fact that he's a great player, etc. And also about Bruno, that I think they played him in the 2019 USA tour of the friendlies, and he thought he was a great player there as well. And he believes that we've got a top player.
A lot of stuff was covered, yeah. So I'm not going to say I'm surprised you watched the Liverpool press conference, but I think for this occasion, it is interesting to know what was being said. Yeah, one-off. I hope that doesn't continue, Harris.
Yeah, one-off, mate.
So let's move on to Kasim. I believe Paul Pogba has given an interview to Sky Sports, and some of the key things I'm sure you have, Harris. In regards to
find out where Harris is getting all this free time from, that's what I want to know.
Exactly, yeah.
Make time management. Make time management.
The thing is, he claims to be at work. What is he doing at work?
Anyway.
Yeah, so I would encourage his employees to get in touch with us because he's clearly not doing anything at all. He's spending a lot of time watching videos and interviews
on my breaks and lunchtime, guys. On my breaks
and researching for the RedFlex. What a committed individual we have.
Breaks and lunches
on our team. Harris has gone into defensive mode just in case they are watching.
Yeah, just in case. That's true as well. That's true. Covering my back.
Right. So Cass, so in regards to the Paul Pogba interview, he mentioned things such as he hates being on the bench. He thinks that Man United are not at Liverpool's level yet, and other interesting things. What did you make of that interview? And was it strange that you thought he was giving an interview in the first place?
Yeah, because Paul Pogba, you don't really see him or hear from him unless it's his agent. But I think because there's a feel-good factor about Paul Pogba at the moment, I think maybe that's why he's thinking, let's sneak a little interview in. It was a very good interview, to be fair. Quite interesting, very entertaining.
Very honest as well, yeah.
It was very honest, and it just had a different feel about it, though. You could tell that the Man United players, even though it's just Pogba in the interview, you could tell that they had a little bit of confidence, a little bit of arrogance. Obviously, he's still downplaying the whole thing, which you would expect. Obviously, he mentioned a certain line where he said that we can't say that we're on the same level until we win the Premier League, which, yeah, it's a fact. We can't say that, we're as good as Liverpool because they're the reigning champions. But I don't know. For me personally, I just felt like he had a little bit of confidence and the whole team, is following that suit. And I think they go into that clash, which is a massive, massive clash. The biggest game that I can remember for years.
For a long time, definitely, yeah.
Sky Sports hyping it up. The RedFlex are hyping it up. And I finally got to the stage. It's Friday now. I just need that game to come around. And I need to know, are we the real deal? And as of right now, I think we are.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to, at the end of the match preview, I will be asking you guys for what you think the scores will be. So that'll be something that's worth actually waiting for, guys. And also, just on that note, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so on YouTube. We are also on Instagram. We are also on Twitch. And also, I believe we're on Periscope. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how Mr. Baz got in contact with us. Mr. Baz.
Right. Okay. Right.
There.
So, Harris, I'm going to move on. Yeah. So at least we got one viewer on Periscope.
Yeah. Good.
Harris, I'm assuming you've watched the interview that was given by Marcus Rashford. Yes.
Indeed.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So
on
the
his
key
break
point
and lunch.
On his break and lunch. So I wonder how long your lunches and your breaks are at work, but so that's another matter. So he said some key points. There's more leaders now than we had 2 years ago, and he said something interesting about Jose Mourinho, who said to him, for you to get more penalties, you need to be more savvy in the box. They were the two key points that I got from it. What were the key points you got from it?
Yeah, very similar, really. I just thought about that penalty one. I don't know whether is that going to work in our favour or not.
I'm sure he was asked the question, he's answered the question, but
yeah, but it doesn't seem right at the time.
The
ref's going to be looking at that thinking, right, okay, are you trying to con us here? So I don't know about that. Or whether on the other hand, is that going to rile Klopp? Is that going to get him up, a bit more irate? Because obviously, if we win or we do get a penalty, it's going to be an absolute. I want the cameras to pan on his face because I want to see what his reaction is going to be.
But let's not forget that Salah and Mane are two of the biggest notorious divers in the Premier League. So
absolutely, yeah.
That needs to be taken into context.
100% agree with that. I think we've had 6 penalties, they've had 5 this season, so nothing in it, really. Nothing in it. I know MD's made a few comments, hasn't he, about Klopp and his penalty dramas. I'm just reading there on the side. Yeah, I think MZ agrees with the fact that Klopp is obviously definitely it's an issue for him. But yeah, it was a good interview. It was he spoke well, and you're right, he did answer the questions honestly. I just hope he is in good form because against Burnley, obviously he was a little bit off. Let's hope Bruno and Rashford are on
saving it, hopefully, for the big game.
Indeed,
fantastic. So, Kasim, we're going to move on to the comments made by ex-referee Dermot Gallagher. So, for those who are unaware of the comments, what he mentioned was Harry Maguire's goal against Burnley should have stood. And if that goal wasn't a goal and it was a foul, then most of Alan Shearer's goals should have been ruled or should have been deemed to be fouls as well. What's your view on that? And it kind of we're starting to hear a lot from referees this week. So is there any particular reason why you think that?
Yeah, because Klopp's blatantly trying to influence referees. The media, all they need is one little thing. And they're going to jump on it. They'll start paying the money out. They'll get the referees to start speaking. Obviously, Clattenburg first, Gallagher now. We'll probably start hearing from United's #1 fan, Howard Webb, probably, leading up to the game. But in relation to the incident itself, I think I said it in a previous video.
Yeah,
that was a blatant goal. I mean, what is Maguire meant to do? Is he meant to jump with his arms behind his back? It was a great jump, great leap, fantastic goal.
Unbelievable header.
It was a great goal. But fortunately for us, it didn't end up costing us. But comments that Klopp has made, it's going to start putting the pressure and the eyes on the referee, and you just got to hope that they don't get influenced by it. But obviously that's what VAR is there for. So that's to, eradicate anything like that. I mean, I think there's too much focus. I think there's too much focus on the referees. Obviously, the media's going to spin it. They're going to do what they're going to do. But ultimately, it's 11 Man United players versus 11 Liverpool players at Anfield. Winner takes all. And whoever gets the 3 points at the end of it, I just hope that they deserve it and we can put a full stop to it.
Yeah, well, I know you're saying that, Kasim, it's 11-11, but it's the fine details that I can decide it, and it could be a dodgy VAR decision. It could be something like that ends up deciding the match. So
I don't think we need it.
Be, yeah.
I think let's
hope that's the case. Yeah,
that's the case. Yeah, let's hope so for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, in other news, Bruno Fernandes has won his 4th Player of the Month award to equal Cristiano Ronaldo's record now of 4. Kasim, do we think he's able to get more than 4 and break the record?
Absolutely, because in the last few games he's had a little bit of a downturn in performance, but Bruno Fernandes has never had a rough patch, you could say, for more than a couple of games. If the season goes how we hope, we expect or anticipate, or whatever you want to call it, Bruno Fernandes is going to score bags full of goals and assists. And I think he's going to break that record. And what a signing he's proven to be. I genuinely believe it could be the signing that leads us to that 21st Premier League title. And he'd have to go down as, one of the all-time greats. And it sounds foolish because he's only been here for a short period of time.
But I think that's the impact he's had, right?
Well, it's the impact. Obviously, players have come in the past, but we've already been at the pinnacle, at the summit. But at this occasion, we've been on our knees, basically. We've been on our knees, and it's one man that has brought us and dragged us all the way to the top. So I'm really excited to see how many trophies he can bring to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I think let's see how that goes. Yeah, we would expect him to get at least one more Player of the Month before the end of the season. So Harris, we're going to move on to you now. This is in reference to a recent Sky Sports, I think it was Monday Night Football, or they did something quite recently where it was Jamie Carragher and Paul Ince, where they were trying to get their best 11 between both teams. And I think Jamie Carragher only picked, 3 United players: Harry Maguire, Fernandes and Rashford. And then everyone else was from Liverpool. I think Paul Ince was very similar, but he chose Paul Pogba instead of Thiago.
He's anti-United anyway. Forget what Ince has got to do.
I mean, for me, that was a bit of a surprise, considering Liverpool have no defenders and only Harry Maguire made it as a defender out of the United squad. What's your views on that, Harris?
To be fair, I think it was nearly spot on. I would have probably just said Bailly instead of Fabinho. You can't have a makeshift centre back above Bailly. That's just stupidness, isn't it? Really. So, Alisson and David De Gea, yeah, you can, toss a coin over it, but I'd always have David De Gea for me. Alisson does make mistakes, but for some reason that's never highlighted in the media. I think that's another one where it's another anti kind of like David De Gea agenda. But Alisson's made loads of mistakes. He's made loads. Even against us a few times in the last few games. So yeah, I would have had David De Gea and Bailly, but yeah, I think the rest would have probably been as is.
And what's your view on that, Kasim? Do you agree that at the most we can only have 3-4 players in that kind of best 11?
I think at the moment I wouldn't swap any of our 11 for any of Liverpool's. Yeah, pretty much. I don't want any of them.
So if you had to pick from the whole pool of players between Manchester United and Liverpool, you wouldn't choose any Liverpool players at all to be in your dream team?
Nope, no Liverpool players.
Is that any particular reason why?
Hatred.
The hatred for Liverpool?
Hatred, but as of right now, why would we pick any Liverpool players?
I mean, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, I think the question was more of, what is the best 11 out of the 22? I don't think it's a case of who would you have in your team? I think it was, who.
Not necessarily to actually play for United. It's just
I'm just saying
out of all those players.
Yeah, what is the best 11?
Based on current form, Liverpool front three doing nothing. So I would have our front three. Midfield, Liverpool's midfield has never been the most creative, especially now. And their defence, I think everybody knows that it's a car crash waiting to happen. So I will stick by that, and I'll pick the United boys for every single spot.
Fantastic. True Manchester United fan. Red running through his veins.
You're a traitor.
No, I was
Liverpool plays in.
No, I was just trying to be neutral on that particular issue.
Only. Does Harris deserve to be fined? I would love to know. Does the chief in charge believe Harris is broken some rules?
If people wanted to hear me scream because I went to sleep for a little bit, God only knows what they're going to do to him. They're savages. They'll eat you.
Yeah.
Right. So let's move on to the kind of final segment now, in regards to who we believe should start, what formation we believe should be employed by Solskjaer, and what score we think it's going to be. So I'm going to ask that question to Harris first, and then we'll move on to Kasim.
Difficult one, formation. Very difficult one.
If it was you in charge, who? Okay, firstly, if you're not sure about formation, who should be playing in this game?
AWB, obviously, I think we need to make sure we keep Mane or Salah, whoever it is, quiet. Obviously, they'll have Robertson on that side. So again, has to be AWB. For me, by Maguire. If Shaw's fit, fine. If not, then obviously it'll be Tellez. So I'm happy with that. Midfield's obviously the question, isn't it? Is Matic fit? Is he not? For me, he's still in current form. Matic is the best holding player out of the three for me. So I would personally stick with Matic, but because Ole might think it's going to be a high action, high intense game, I think he might revert to McFred. But obviously we need to get Pogba in there. So is he going to go for that kind of modified 4-3-3, or is it going to be one of Fred and McTominay along with Pogba, which I don't know, to be honest. Either way, I'd be happy with it. But Pogba has to play. Fernandes has to play. Is Martial fit? I don't know. I mean, would I be happy with Greenwood? I would. So again, any sort of variation of that, Rashford, Martial, Cavani, Greenwood, I'm happy with that. But obviously, if he does stick with two up top, if he changes up to a diamond or something of that variation, then for me, it has to be Rashford and Cavani.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there are many people who would actually disagree with that. Kasim, you seem quite miserable at the moment for some reason. I know you're probably super excited for the game. You don't want to waste too much energy before the game.
I don't know, where have you got that observation from?
I got the impression you're not miserable for some reason. I don't know why.
That's just my mug.
Right. What's the comment say? Even Dan James, Cass. You are notorious for hating on this poor young lad.
Is he going to play, Kasim?
He'd make my bench, yeah.
Okay.
Even though you feel he doesn't belong in the Premiership.
He made your bench.
Yeah, he's still making the bench. There's room for him.
Change your tune, Kasim.
I just think he's better than some of the Liverpool players on the bench.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Okay, yes, Kasim. Same question to you then. So in regards to who you think should start, and Harris, so we'll get to your score prediction after Kasim's given who he thinks should start in this game.
Sure.
I am thinking completely opposite, so very different to what Harris is thinking. So I would definitely go with a 5-3-2 against Liverpool, purely based on the fact that Liverpool's main threats, nothing's going to come from the centre of the midfield. So they can have the ball as far as I'm concerned in that area. The main concerns are Arnold, Robertson and the front three. So I think we should match them up because we know that Mane and Salah like to, come narrow and dominate in that area. So I think we definitely need three centre-backs. I would those three centre backs would be Luke Shaw, because he plays really well on the left side of a three, in my opinion. Bailly and Maguire. That would give us a nice complement of pace, defensive qualities, aerial abilities, pace,
balance as well with the left foot. Yeah,
absolutely. Tellez, left wing back, Wan-Bissaka, right wing back, just to kind of keep the flanks secure. And then obviously there's a lot of feel-good factor around Paul Pogba, but for me, he shouldn't be in the starting lineup in this game.
Come on.
Controversial.
Not for me.
Clickbait from Casimir.
No. You won't be seeing this on the thumbnail. You won't be seeing this anywhere.
In the form of his life. Come on.
No.
Okay, so Casimir, go on. Okay, so considering we've got 5 at the back, who should start in the midfield then?
So I would still start McTominay and Fred, spearheaded by Bruno Fernandes, and then a front two. Rashford is obviously going to take one of those spots, and then depending on if Martial's fit, I would go with them two, and if he's not, then I'd put Cavani up front just for that extra element of a little bit of strength, a little bit of aerial threat. But I'm a little bit unconventional. As you know me, we play PES. I always have a little bit of
always some strange
ideas.
Formations, very strange formations. Defensive. This is in fact this is typical Qasim. In fact, like
I think we
every time I play Qasim or every time I play with him online, he always wants to go uber defensive, ultra defensive.
No. You can be ultra defensive. What's that?
They could have 2 midfielders in the back 4. We have to show some intent in this game.
No, but Liverpool have to come out, and that's what we want. They're going to have to come out, and we've got enough with Fernandes, Rashford, and another striker to cause them trouble, I think. And especially, like the form. Fair enough, Liverpool are not in form, but form goes out the window in this game. Liverpool, Man United, everyone's going to be at the best. So we still got to give Liverpool respect. They don't have a defence, but they're still, second, 3 points off. And they're not supposedly, playing with the worst football that they've played. So we still have to respect them. But I think that gives us the foundation to break on them and stifle them as well.
Interesting views. Yeah, that completely matches up with how you play PES anyway, Qasim. 100%. That is 100% you. And I'm the complete opposite. I like to play a high press game, and you want to play it on the counter, Qasim. Exactly matching up with how you play in PES. So just before we go, then guys, let's hear the match predictions from Harris and Cass. So Harris, over to you first of all.
Probably, we may get another video to maybe change our minds, but for now, no, desperate. 2-1 United. Penalty, Bruno Fernandes with the winner.
Interesting. And you, Qasim?
Originally, I think in a previous video somewhere, I think I said 3-0. I'm going to change that slightly. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go for the ultimate clickbait material. It's something that I've seen going around online as well. I think the full-time whistle is going to read Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1, and it's going to be a 90th minute penalty from Bruno Fernandes.
Wow. If that did happen, that would be an amazing moment. 1-0.
Imagine just Bruno Fernandes before he steps up. Imagine the nerves, the excitement, everything on the line, bragging rights on the line. It'll just be an unreal moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, Mark Lawrenson also has given his prediction, like I mentioned earlier, and he believes United do have the momentum going forward into this game, and they actually carry that forward into this game. He believes it's going to be 1-1. I'm also thinking it's going to be a draw, unfortunately. I think
Mr. High Press is going for 1-1.
Mr. High Press 1-1.
High Press doesn't mean you're going to win games, though, unfortunately. I think it'll be a draw. But again, I may change my mind before the game, depending on who starts.
We might get one more video, I think, just to confirm our choices.
Match day, I think on match day there'll be another video.
When we see the team sheet, we might do one, yeah.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else, guys, you want to add
No.
Nope.
I need the game. Desperate for the game.
Need the game.
Yeah.
I think if it was on right now, I think we're actually completely ready. I think all the United fans are really desperate to see this momentous game, the biggest game of the season, and some would say the biggest game for at least the last 5 or 6 years. So thank you again for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so on YouTube. Please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Twitch and also on Periscope. Thank you for watching. We shall see you soon. And also, incidentally, just before we go, I believe there's going to be another live stream where it's going to be a Liverpool fan versus Kasim in the ultimate debate on who is the bigger club. And they're going to cover some key moments on some key games between the two massive rivals. So that is something that you must watch. That'll be an amazing watch to hear from a Liverpool fan and to see what he really thinks about Manchester United. So again, thank you for watching. We shall see you soon.